Hello everyone, this is Angela Meekey. I am a middle school math and science teacher for Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools, and last year I was named Teacher of the Year for all of my work with my digital tools, and I taught the rest of my school how to use Canvas and all of these new and great tools for online learning. So I was asked to make a quick introduction of the digital tools that I use just for you. So here you go. We're going to start out with our normal Google tools, Docs, Sheets, Slides, and my favorite, Google Drawings. We're going to talk about EdPuzzle, and that is the only way to show a video nowadays. Pear Deck and Nearpod when you are presenting. This is going to make it way more engaging for your students. There's a new website called Wiser that allows you to make digital worksheets that are amazing. There is collaboration tools like Padlet and Flipgrid and Jamboard so students can hold online discussions or just share their ideas and then organize them. And then last but not least is our favorite, which is the quiz games. All right, here we go. First off, the number one most used tool in the classroom right now is Google Docs. It is simple and it is easy to use. Now, lots of teachers use it for students to write their ideas or type out and answer questions. It is a way to answer digital worksheet questions. But the main thing that I use it for is my students have to answer questions based on reading passages. And the reason that their reading passages go into Google Docs is so that they can have the tools to have the text read to them. Now, if you have EC students or if you have L students, this is a game changer for them. Also, your ADHD students, this allows them to focus a little easier if it is being read to them at their own pace. They can change the speed at which it's being read, and they love that. They love to have it read fast. It keeps them more engaged. Also, my worksheets are not really normal worksheets. They are hyperdocs. So what I make are things called playlists. So my students work through a series of tasks, and each task is linked to video content, a website, an image, something that they have to read, analyze, understand, and then come back and answer their questions in the doc, and then they can submit. Also, for your EC and L kids, there is a speak to text feature in Google Docs so they can just talk and it will type it up for them. And that really speeds up the process for them. They're not so hung up on typing and trying to fix their spelling and all of that. Another great tool for when students are analyzing text is allowing them to do annotations. Now, we know that normally you would print the worksheet, you would have these really big margins for them, and they would underline and highlight and use symbols and all of these things in the margins. And they would also write their summary sentences and whatnot. You can do all of that in Google Docs. What you would do is change the color of your highlight for different things. So I personally have them highlight words that they don't know what they mean in pink. So we can go back and like look those words up, and if I see a trend, a lot of students don't know what numerous is. I can go back and have a discussion with the class, make sure that everybody understands that word rather quickly as I'm scanning through these documents. Also, students can work in pairs or in groups. So each student can have their own color of highlighted text, and you can kind of see who's doing what and who's making what connections. And then last but not least, if your students are writing, they should be doing peer review. Let your students review each other's work before they submit. Just like when we're professionals, hey, can you take a look at this before I send this email? Can you just check it over for me? We do that all the time. Kids need to be allowed that opportunity, and they also need to be taught the proper way to speak to each other when corrections need to be made. And that's just good practice for them. Google Sheets is a little bit underrated. Lots of people don't even open Sheets. Teachers use it, I think, a whole lot more than students use it because we're the ones collecting the data and analyzing the data. But also, I think students need to do this as well. Data trackers in Google Sheets is a great idea. Let the students track their own data, let them create their own graphs, see how they're doing by subject, by content, by strand. Um, they can do that. They can make their own graphs quickly and easily in Google Sheets. Also, there's a new thing where some teachers are making worksheets in Google Sheets. And when the students are typing in the answer into a cell, it does a validation. And if they get the answer correct, it turns another cell a specific color and it makes this pixel art that you see on the screen. And it's just a quick and easy way for the students to get feedback to see if they're right or wrong, and a little bit more engaging. Google Slides. It's not just for projects and presentations. There are so many new things that you can do with Google Slides. There are tools in Google Slides that the kids really do not know about. They can mark up a image of a piece of text really quickly and easily. They can annotate on images. They can draw extra things on top of the images. That's all great. I personally love this for what I call digital task cards. So each thing that they have to do is on a slide. And then when the student responds or answers, I don't have to worry about the formatting. Is it going to go onto the next page? Is it going to mess the formatting up like it would in Google Docs when the students are answering inside the Google Doc and it's moving things around? You can lock things into place by making it all just the background image. You can give them very set space to write in. You can pre-format the color of the text so it stands out and you can tell what their answer is versus what you wrote. It makes grading quicker and easier. And class collaboration, they can do this in pairs, they can do this in groups, they can do this whole class. You can have an entire class in one Google Doc at one time, and they each get their own slide that they're editing themselves. And you can quickly pull together some information and some analysis of something, whatever your topic may be. My favorite Google tool lately is Google Drawings because I've had to convert a lot of things that we did on paper this past year into digital products. And the way I did that was through Google Drawings. So I created drag and drop activities, which were normally just basic labeling activities. Label this image, label this diagram. It worked really well for that. I put the answers on the sides or I put the answers underneath, and they drag and move them into place and then submit it back to me. Students can also use this for project-based learning. They can make what I call interactive images. So they'll take an image that they created and they can put clear text boxes or shapes over top of it and then hyperlink those shapes. So once those are submitted and can even be shared out through the class for a gallery walk or whatnot, they can hover, take their mouse over the image, and it will change from the pointer into the hand, and they can click and go out to a new site or a video, and they can learn more about the topic based on clicking on different parts of the image, which is super cool and interactive, and it puts some thinking, some processing skills back on the students to create those things. Where should they put them? Where should they send them? That kind of thing. The flowcharts and diagrams are great for processing information just to see where they are at and the level they are at. And then, of course, everybody loves a good timeline. This is a quick and easy tool to make one. You don't have to go to an outside website. And if you use the same thing all the time, the kids are going to get good with the controls. So whether you're doing a drag and drop or a timeline or a graphic organizer, if it's all in Google Drawings, they're going to get quicker, easier, more useful than sending them to this website for this and that website for that. EdPuzzle. EdPuzzle is the only way to show your students a video. Number one, it ensures that the students watch the entire video. It will make sure that they don't skip through the video and that they are answering the questions in between, which increases engagement, and it is graded. So you get feedback, they get feedback, instant feedback, and it just increases their knowledge base because you know they watched it, you know they answered questions on it, it's more engaging, it's more insightful, and you have the data to prove what they know, what they don't know, and you can quickly go back and look at the data and see how they did and know which questions or which spot was a little tricky for them. So, gotta love the data collection and ensuring that they are actually watching your video. Pear Deck and Nearpod. So we used this exclusively last year when we went digital, specifically for math. The Draw It tool in Nearpod was invaluable. So what happens is while you are presenting, the students put in a code. You are now basically in control of their screen. Your Google Slides presentation, which is I highly suggest you start with a Google Slide. Your presentation is on their screen. They can't change it. They can't move it. They're locked in, which is great. You can make it engaging and interactive with polls, multiple choice questions, matching. You're going to get feedback on all of this while they're doing it in real time. You can also grab specific answers that students have put in or student work, and you can display it on all of the student screen at once, and then you can analyze it, evaluate it, go over it, look for mistakes, talk about good common mistakes. Really help them understand that growth mindset of things like, yeah, you got this wrong, but let's find where we got this wrong. How can we make sure this never happens again? Another tool that is built in is the collaboration board, which is also what we're going to do next. So if you have the paid version of Nearpod, you'll have that, but otherwise you have choices. And the drawing tool is also a paid version. But a good old multiple choice question or just a plain text box of tell me what you're thinking right now is fantastic to keep the kids engaged. Wiser is a website that allows you to quickly and easily create interactive worksheets that will grade themselves and give feedback real time. The good thing about Wiser is they're really pretty and they're really easy to make. So the kids see them instantly. They're like, oh, this looks cool. This looks engaging. So they're in. You have a variety of question types. You can have fill in the blank. You can have multiple choice. You can have drop down. You can have label on an image. There are charts and tables where you can fill in some of the pieces and they have to fill in the rest. The student is going to click hand in work at the bottom of the worksheet. It's going to grade it. It's going to give them their feedback immediately. It'll be marked green or red. You're going to have a whole page of data. You can see each individual student's worksheet. It will grade it for you. The only downside to this is that on the back end, the only way to sort is by last name or by first name. So if you have multiple blocks, if you are teaching hundreds of students, like on A day, B day, I would highly suggest having at least an A day wiser and a B day wiser, if not a copy for each individual block. It makes grading go way faster on the back end if you're going to grade these. Our collaborative sharing tools. Our main tools are Padlet, Jamboard, and Flipgrid. Padlet and Jamboard are very similar. Padlet's been around for years and years. Jamboard is relatively new. I think Padlet has more tools and it's just prettier. Um, Jamboard is very, very basic. It comes with a plain white screen unless you put in the backgrounds before you share it out. The good thing about both of these is it is very quick and easy for students to just brainstorm ideas, throw them out there, what they're thinking, what they're feeling. And then all of those things can be moved and organized. They can be anonymous or they can have their name attached. It gives them space to kind of put their thoughts out there and not have to talk in front of their peers, which some of them really struggle with. Another tool that's somewhat like this is Flipgrid. Flipgrid is extremely popular. The students make video content that is sent to a board where all the other students can watch the videos, or the teacher can choose to just watch the videos themselves. They come with lots of tools. The kids love the tools where they can like draw on top of the video after it's been recorded, and they can put stickers on it. They love to put a big sticker over their face so their face isn't showing, and that makes them a little more comfortable. All of this is just to get the kids to share their ideas, share their thinking, explain their thinking, analyze their thinking. That's what they have to do. They have to have that recall, take that cognition to a higher level. And last but not least, everyone's favorite is a good old game. Now, the three main games that I use are Kahoot, Quizzes, and Book It. Now, I use them differently depending on what I'm doing. The good news is all three of them are highly engaging, they are competitive, they allow for instant feedback, there's data collection. The only downfall is that Kahoot, lots of times the kids like to just click because if they get their answer in faster, they get more points. So they're not actually reading and trying their hardest, they're just trying to get more points and win. So that drives me a little crazy with Kahoot sometimes. So I can't do Kahoot with math. It has to be very basic knowledge. Vocab works great. Review for a test, it's very simple, works great in Kahoot. If you are going to do something where the kids need to do a little bit more thinking and you want them to have some processing time and you're really looking for them to get it right, quizzes is a better bet for you because they get maximum points for getting it right, no matter how long it takes them. Your EC and your L kids will prefer quizzes over Kahoot any day, because they have the time to stop and process, and they're not going to lose every time just because they're not as fast as the other kids. Also, quizzes probably gives you your best back-end data. You can really see exactly which questions were missed the most. In fact, it just moves it to the top for you. You can see all of the answers at once. You can see individual kids at once. You can take your choice. I would say that if you're going to grade a quizzes, have the kids take a screenshot of their score and submit it through your LMS like Canvas or Google Classroom. Don't try to dig through quizzes for each individual kid's score. It's not that great on sorting it, but the data part is great. Blooket is sort of the new kid on the block. So what happens with Blooket is it uses the same quiz bank, but you can choose multiple versions of play. So they'll get the question right, and then they can do multiple things. So there's a head-to-head competition where it's like a tournament bracket, and you'll compete against another specific person. You're trying to get your answer in before them. There's also tower defense. You get more coins. You get to buy more towers and defend your land or whatever from the invaders. There's also cafe and factory and just plain old race. So lots and lots of different styles of games so that it doesn't get boring, even though it's the exact same questions, and it will repeat the questions as long as you play. It's not like there's 20 questions, you do the 20 and you stop. It just keeps going. So if you want just consistent practice over and over and over and over again, Blooket is the way to go. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.